evening, everybody.
Finish him.
You can do it!
Fatality.
You got a reason to follow my lead, so hold on to me and stand up. You got a reason to
What's up, Justin?
follow my lead, so hold on to me and stand up. You got a reason to follow my lead, so hold on to me and stand up. You got a reason to follow my lead, and hold on to me and stand up. Watch it all fall down around you now. Was it ever really worth it? Having your kingdom?
Live from the Man Cave Studios in South Parkersburg, West Virginia, this is Robert's Report, your leader in combat sports and rock music. And now, your host of Robert's Report, Craig Vegas Roberts. Good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday evening. And post UFC 256, those of you that are still hungover from it. Hope you all are having a great evening, and we've got an outstanding show here this evening. And first of all, I do want to apologize for what happened there last week. The guest I had, I guess it was in the emergency room for some kind of dehydration issue, and he did get back with me, and we are going to reschedule it. So those of you that were looking for Richie Green there last week, we will reschedule that as soon as possible. But in the meantime, tonight we have Ryan Carroll with us. We'll be getting to that here in just a second to do some things. First off, though, I just want to give a big thank you to of course, Shallow Side and Code Red Riot. Code Red Riot, and actually, Code Red Riot has a new cover song out right now. Those of you that haven't heard it yet should go out there and into Spotify, or heck, you might even support the band by buying it and going on Amazon or what's that one? iTunes. It's out there. The song is called Jump Around. You've probably heard the Jump Around, jump around that song. So that is they have a heavier version of it out there now. So also coming up here in a couple weeks. Let's see here. I got to get straight here. Actually, it's next Sunday. Next Sunday, we're going to have UFC new UFC star Nate Maness is going to be here. He's coming off his He's won his first 2 fights in UFC now, and we're going to be talking to him live here on the air. This also must be the season for some bands that you never thought you'd see again to start coming back and producing some new songs. Egypt Central is coming out with new music. They're back together with their original lineup. John Falls is back with them. Attack Attack is back for those of you that are in the grindcore type of music. And Raw is back into the mix now with new music. So all kinds of new things. I guess COVID, if one thing, is inspiring people to write new music and to prepare for the future. So hopefully we get over this hump of all this COVID crap and get things back to normal. We sure do miss live music in this household and live events. That UFC event that happened last night, you can probably would have counted on my wife and I being in Vegas for that one to see it, because we do go to those. But unfortunately, COVID has us in, and we had to wait it out for a little bit longer. One other thing, too, congratulations to the Marshall Thundering Herd for they are East Division champions of Conference USA, so they will be hosting the championship game. I don't have a date on that off the top of my head, but congratulations to them. I don't forget what the record is, like 15-1 or something like that. They had a fantastic year. So that brings us up to our guest part of the show here. First of all, I just wanted to what we're going to be doing here first. We got kind of a layout here. We're going to break down the fight that happened last night, UFC 256, which was one of the best cards of the year, in my opinion, and headed by the flyweights of all, which was almost that Ariel Helwani kind of put it as they were on life support there for a little while. But the flyweights are back off the ventilator now, so to speak, and making some noise. So just a real quick thing here. This is a synopsis of what Dana White said about the fight last night.
Dan, I don't have any words to describe that main event. Was that the greatest?
I mean, some people are calling it the greatest fight in the history of the division. So, incredible fight. I mean, the only thing to do is rematch, man. You got to do that fight again, and so that gives us another incredible fight to look forward to next year.
So there you have it. You can count on it being another fight in 2021 for us to look forward to. Some of the other ones that have come up too, well, we'll get into that. We'll work on that with when we're kind of breaking it down there. So without further ado there, I'd like to welcome Mr. Ryan Carroll to the show there. Ronin Jiu Jitsu and MMA here in Parkersburg, and after I get off my ass and get back into the gym, he'll be my coach again. But he is joining us here from his comfy living room there. I like the toboggan there, sir. Appreciate you joining us this evening.
Yes.
So, what an evening with UFC 256. I don't know if I don't think you could hear what because you would have gotten an echo. But I don't know if you heard the audio. But from Dana White's perspective on that it was some people are saying the greatest flyweight championship fight in history.
Yeah, I mean, that fight was freaking awesome. It sucks that it didn't end in a definitive fashion, that like we all would have wanted it to. Honestly, I expected it, like many others, to be ended in the first or second round by Figueroa. Like, dude came out swinging hard. Like, man, that was, yeah.
Well, we're kind of let's start from the. Were you able to watch all of the fights?
I watched most of them, I do believe, all the prelims.
Did you see the Chase Hooper and Peter Barrett one, the 21-year-old?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, right here's a good example of where jiu-jitsu pretty much saved the day for him, because
Oh, absolutely. He was just getting slaughtered, and it just so happened that he wound up catching that heel hook at the end. I mean, daggone. That was.
yeah, and he was compromised too. His knee or leg or something, I didn't exactly hear which one, but yeah, he was hobbling around on his lead leg.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I caught most of the fight. I didn't catch all of it. But from what I seen, it was almost like a desperation move. Like, I mean, because typically you don't really jump into an Imanari roll like that. Like, that's just not, copacetic for you to do while you're in the midst of a fight.
right.
Unless you're, I don't know, somebody else. Can't think of his name. But yeah, that's just not atypical of a fighter to go out and do, really. With the risk involved. But hey, he got it done.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it. I really don't know how he survived it, to be honest. I mean, I think in some of the higher level ones probably would have capitalized on that
Yeah.
bad leg and just tore it up. But anyway,
Oh, absolutely.
it's good to see him. Good to see him get out. It was good experience for him. I think maybe he might need to go hang out with Sean O'Malley, but maybe he'll become one of his one of his weed cronies or something. I don't know.
Oh, Sean O'Malley, that boy. Oh man, I don't know about that kid. He's something, that's for sure.
So another fight here too was the ladies in strawweight. Did you get to see the Tisha Torres and Sam Hughes?
Yeah, that
Holy
was man. I mean, that was an amateur move on her behalf of, when she said, "Oh, I can't see out my eye." Well, and then she kind of complained about, yeah, oh, I'm okay to fight or whatever. Like, that's one thing that you learn in the amateurs. Don't ever say that you can't do anything. Like, especially right there in front of the commission or a ref or anybody. That's the first thing they're going to do is shut you down and be like, "Well, sorry."
Right.
And I mean, I don't know to the extent of what all happened as far as, I mean, I know it was an eye poke, but, yeah, it was red and this and that. And, I've had my eye poked like that before, and it does impair your vision for a few minutes.
It sucks, especially if it gets scratched. I mean, I can appreciate that, but when you're at this level.
Well, do you remember who was the fighter? She got kicked in the eye, and her toenail.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
It jacked her eye all up. I mean, like I seen the afterwards pictures, and they were just gruesome. Like, man. So yeah, I mean, some eye pokes are just ridiculously bad. I mean, it sucks that it happened the way it did. But I mean, it was going to end either way, just because, I mean, she was just taking it to her left and right, and
It was Kat Zingano.
Oh, okay, yeah, and that's unfortunate too, because wasn't that one of her last fights?
Yeah,
I do believe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that toenail just went right across. I mean, I've had my eye scratched before by just working under the car and shit. And
yeah,
I couldn't imagine a complete toenail going across your cornea. I mean,
no.
it's one of the most miserable things I think I've ever had done, because you can't close your eyes, you can't go to sleep because it hurts to go to sleep, but you're tired. It's
And see,
terrible.
that's the funny and almost ironic thing about MMA is like it's not the major injuries that really affect you; it's those stupid little ones, like a freaking eye poke or just a groin shot for that matter, just something stupid that's not indicative of actual sport. I mean, I've had my own injuries from stupid things that weren't even, necessarily a part of the fight. It was just accidental stuff, and it'll put you out faster than getting punched in the face.
Yeah. On a side note, though, Tisha Torres, Tiny Tornado, was ready to make a statement.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
I mean,
she freaking lit her up. I mean, combos after combos after combos, and just, I mean, she looked fantastic. I mean, I could, I was impressed with her. If you look past the fact that Sam Hughes only had a week or so, or 2 weeks or whatever it was, notice, but still, it was.
oh, she still did awesome. I mean, daggone. I mean, she came out for a win on that, and that's the thing. The women's division is definitely getting a lot deeper too. I mean, if you look at what it was, like 5 years ago, and I mean, there was very, very, very few women in any of the divisions, and now they're starting to get a lot more stacked, and it's just crazy the talent that's coming out. Like if you remember, what was it last weekend, the Invicta fight? When a girl, it was the bloodiest fight they've had, especially a female fight. She was just tearing her up. It was ungodly.
Yeah, I actually didn't see that one. I didn't see
Yeah, it
that
was
one.
pretty rough. Yeah, she had her on the ground. She was just elbowing the crap out of her, and there was blood pouring. I mean, whew, man.
Yeah, and then Gavin Tucker and Billy Quarantillo fight.
Oh, man. That
Gavin Tucker
was rough.
I think he is underrated.
Oh well, yeah, yeah. I mean, well, is he even ranked right now?
Um,
Like maybe he's not in top 10. I don't
no,
think.
no, no, no. He's 13-1, and 13-1. Yeah, 13-1. But yeah, it doesn't have his ranking here, so I'm going to guess he's out of the top 10.
Oh,
But I mean, yeah, he put on a clinic.
yeah. That was pretty daggone good.
And then
I mean,
I'm gonna skip through some of these because some of these names are not. The Cub Swanson and Daniel Panetta.
oh man. Oh,
Did you not think that Cub Swanson was going to get clocked with the? That dude was a tank.
man, and the size difference, dude was huge compared to Cub. Like, I mean, daggone. And he was just chopping away at that leg, and all of a sudden, Cub just came. And again, I think we was talking about that earlier, like desperation almost. Like he knew, he was being backed up. He knew that that leg was in horrible danger. Like, and I think that put the fear of God in him, and he's like, dude's going to keep chopping out my leg because obviously that was his game plan,
Right.
from day one.
Right.
You can't fault the guy, but in the same token, it's like, damn, dude, that's his leg. I mean, but he landed that uppercut and freaking straight done.
Yeah, he
I mean,
almost had a knee bar on Cub there. I think that probably is what kind of
yeah,
woke him up.
yeah, yeah. That was he was frantic on that, like, because he switched. I think did he go from knee bar to heel hook or one of the
Yeah,
two?
yeah, yeah.
And he was just, like you've seen the sense of urgency, like, most people's like, okay, that's a heel hook or whatever, but like, dude was not having any of that at all. I mean, I was very shocked. Me and Matt both looked at each other. We're like, "Holy crap!" Like, what just happened?
Yeah, I was glad.
I mean,
I was glad to see it. And then, what do you think about Junior Dos Santos and I don't know I can't remember how you pronounce Sriogan?
yeah.
Dos Santos needs to retire, dude.
Yeah. What is he? 41 now, I think, or no?
46 or something like that. He's yeah. You see here what
And that was a boring fight too. Like, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot going on. I mean, it kills me though because Dos Anjos got some awesome kicks, and he wasn't even using them.
nah.
You know, he was just straight trying to box him. I'm like, man, dude.
Nah. Yeah, that was yeah, for a heavyweight fight, I was going to sleep on it.
Yeah. I think me and Matt just kind of took a break on that one. We're like, okay.
Now, what do you think about Kevin Holland?
Oh man.
That dude's mouth, but my God.
You know,
Tell me that an Israel Adesanya and Kevin Holland fight would not be fun to hear the trash talk.
the trash talk would definitely be interesting. I mean, obviously, Israel would just slaughter him. I think. You know, that was one of those lucky punches. Like, I mean, there's no way you could have ever prepared for anything like that. I mean, that was just, you know. And he acts like, you know, oh yeah, I'm awesome. Well, you just kind of got lucky because, you know, Jakar, he was just, I don't know, he was taking him too lightly, and unfortunately, he fell into his, you know, game of, you know, basically dicking around because, you know, he's sitting there talking to him the whole time and, you know,
Right.
just joking around, and that kind of made it lighthearted. So he didn't. I feel that Jakar didn't exactly take it too, like, I guess, serious. I don't know.
Yeah,
This is
I had picked Jakar to win that. I thought for sure that he was going to pull that off.
oh, absolutely. I mean, his jujitsu is great. I mean, you know, I thought it was going. I was like, oh, they went to the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
That was a hell of an upset. I mean,
And then I'd like to know how in the hell that Mackenzie Dern and Verna Generoba made it to the. How did that make it to the main card?
I don't know that.
Talk about watching paint dry.
Yeah, I mean, there was maybe a couple highlights in there, but honestly, it just wasn't. It wasn't main card material. You know, I don't know. It just, and how she put it too. She's like, you know, oh, we're both jujitsu practitioners, so we both just made it a boxing match. I'm like, well, maybe you should have.
They really weren't that great in jiu-jitsu.
No, I mean, it wasn't. There was no awesome transitions or crazy submission attempts. I mean, I think what she tried maybe an arm bar or something like that.
Right, yeah.
You know, granted, yeah, she was bleeding into her eye and stuff from her nose, but I don't know. They're just the higher the level that they're at as far as jiu-jitsu wise, and what they were demonstrating was two totally different ends of the spectrum. I think. You know, I mean, it could have went way better. I mean, shoot.
I think they should have been in the prelims, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
It just wasn't. Actually, they could have flip-flopped that one in the
Torres fight. Oh yeah, at least that one was entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot. Give Torres to Dern.
There you go. Oh yeah, that would have been awesome. That would have been a great fight.
Yeah.
I think Torres would have made a.
I think she probably would have taken it to her. Now that would have been a, you know, and that's the thing. Like, fighters make the fight, right? So like, just how you have someone like Gaethje who could tear apart Ferguson, and you know, everybody was like, well, Ferguson could tear apart, you know, whoever. But when you put those two together, it's like, nope. You know, it's crazy how it works like that.
Two different styles.
Yeah,
Two completely different styles.
I mean, Torres would be all over her, you know, striking wise, and that would force Dern to definitely go to the ground. And I think it would actually wind up being a better outcome for both of them. You know.
Now, do you find it more that that the UFC is putting more? It seems like they're signing more well-rounded fighters now. You don't find as many one-dimensional fighters anymore.
Right. Yeah. You mean like as early as I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, probably. I'm trying to think of someone off the top of my head who would be, you know, indicative of that. But yeah, they don't have like your predominantly just straight stand-up fighters or whatever. You know, like your boxers or straight wrestlers or something.
Yeah, like John Jones is a good example of a I mean.
Oh yeah.
Granted, he's been at it for a little while, but.
Well, you take someone like DC.
Yeah.
You know, he's a wrestler. You know, through and through. His game plan, take you down and just try to ground and pound you. You know, and I think those days are numbered when it comes to just a single sided fighter. You know, it's just no longer beneficial because you have to, you know, just like the Dern fight, learn to adapt. And unfortunately, and I think what happened, honestly, I think where this trend might have started was way back from Ronda Rousey.
Oh yeah, great example.
Because, you know, back then, you know, it was like, hey, if you're good at one thing, you know, because, you know, if you look at Gracie and Cheetah Ortiz, you know, everybody had their own thing. You know, right. Chuck Liddell, awesome stand-up fighter. And then, you know, you had Rousey, and then unfortunate for her, she didn't stick to her game plan, and she listened to everybody else. They're like, oh, you're just a one-trick pony. So she's like, well, I'm going to do stand-up with Holly Holm, who's a world kickboxing champion. No, you don't do that. You stick to your freaking game plan. Like, it's got you this far,
right?
You know. But I think that's where the turning point started to happen, was when people realized, you know, that yeah, you can be awesome until you meet that one person who's also great at stand-up. So if you don't get it to the ground, you know, and they have good takedown defense, then you're screwed. Right. Like you have to, you know, be multifaceted when it comes to that.
Right. I mean, how do you think? Speaking of John Jones, and of course he's looks like he is definitely making the move to heavyweight.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you think that's going to work out with him and Stipe Miocic, which is he's completely one-dimensional?
You know, I think John Jones will definitely win. Miocic is great, but I think he's too, for lack of a better term, I guess, robotic. Mm-hmm. You know, and Jones is he's very adaptable.
Yes.
You know, and he can come at you from every angle versus, you know, Miocic is more in and out, kind of your typical fighter. And that's what has always given Jones the edge, or Adesanya, Ferguson, you know, a lot of those guys. Right. You know, they believe in so many different angles, like Dominic Cruz, you know, his footwork.
Right.
And that's what throws people off on their game a lot of times. When you have someone like Miocic, who's I don't know if he's one-dimensional, but he's definitely not a adaptable, I guess, fighter. When it comes to angles and level changes and different things like that. You know, he's strictly punch, kick, takedown, punch, kick.
Right.
You know, like, and you know, it's worked this far. But again, you know, your heavyweights aren't known for super athleticism. You know, even as big as like Brock Lesnar, who was super athletic, it still was very single. You know, I'm going to box you, take you down, wrestle you, and pound you. You know, yeah. And that's your typical heavyweight, honestly. I mean,
well, you think about it. John Jones had DC's number every freaking time.
Oh, absolutely.
So here, I mean, right there would be a good example. If you take him now and put him over into the game, the arena with Miocic, which him and DC pretty close on, you know,
Mhm.
pretty close.
Yeah,
And
they're.
I'm just afraid to see it's going to end up being the same song and dance with him and Miocic. But
I mean, Miocic will probably give him a decent run for his money, and they'll probably make it to maybe like the third round. But that's where I think Jones' cardio and his slickness is going to come into play. You know, and Miocic probably knows
confidence,
that. Yeah,
confidence.
absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, and that's what wins or kills a fight right there alone is just being confident in it and not being afraid to, you know, attack or, you know, try different things. When you're so scared and you're not confident in your ability, that's what's going to hold you back so much more.
Right.
And, you know, and we've seen so many fighters like that where you can just see it in their eyes and they're just not into it, you know.
Right.
Look at a prime example would probably be, oh, there's a couple of them actually. Maybe Cerrone versus McGregor.
Oh yeah.
You know, that was a big thing, and I think even the Ferguson and Gaethje, you know, you can just tell. Well, actually, the Ferguson fight last night, man, golly, there was,
Which is the next fight we was going to talk about here. That's
dude. If there was ever any twins, those two could have been twins.
And you know something? Missy and I had went to one of the UFC fights there live, and I remember one of the first fights we'd seen him, and yeah, I mean he was part of the prelims, and every single time, I mean I can't recall seeing him lose. I haven't watched every one of his fights.
Yeah.
But
I think he was on like a 12 fight winning streak or something like that.
And what baffles me is how he was able to get down to 145.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a big boy for 145, you know, because I mean he's tall and lanky, but I mean he's got some muscle on him too.
And wallered.
Oh
he
yeah.
completely wallered Tony Ferguson.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean it's golly. Well, I mean he just tore him. His whole game plan, you know, Tony had nothing to offer back. It was just straight out the get. Like, I mean, there was no crazy movements out of Tony, and it was funny because I was sitting there with Matt watching the fight, and like, you know, they're standing there and while they were, you know, announcing the fighters and stuff, you know, I was like, dude, Tony just looks off. You know, you know, and I know it's crazy, but like his hair was all just shaved off. He didn't have his typical you know, crazy look about him. You know, I mean, he looked pale. You know, he didn't look like his typical Tony Ferguson. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he even came out very nonchalant, almost just like, "What the crap?" I mean, oh boy, was just a monster. I mean, the way he controlled him, he controlled him on the ground so damn good, and you know, nobody does that. Nobody's done that to Tony ever. And just how he freaking controlled the crap out of him. I mean, daggone, man. It's, I don't know. I don't know if the Gaethje fight, like, ruined him. But, man, I don't.
Well, he looked terrible after that fight. It was minced meat after that one.
Oh, yeah.
But it does, you know, that one armbar.
Oh, Jesus.
Anybody else would have tapped on that one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was definitely hyperextended, you know. Daggone. You know.
Your elbow just don't go in that direction.
No. That's. His corner had to be screaming at him, dude, you got like 5 seconds, just hold on. Like, because I mean, if that was in the middle of the fight, and if there was like 2 minutes left, he would have tapped. Absolutely. I don't care who you are. I mean, either that or it would have just popped and the referee would have stopped it, you know, because they have. You know,
anybody that's ever had that done to them, I mean, I've had Sam do me one there over at the other gym there one time, and
Oh
a
yeah.
full-fledged one. Yeah, I don't want any part of it.
Well, if you remember, who was it? Mark Kerr, um, who did Little Nog's arm in a Kimura like that and just straight popped it. No, was it Mark Kerr or Frank Mir? That's who it was. When Frank Mir popped, it was either Little Nog or Big Nog's arm, and he had him in Kimura, and he just snapped it. And the referee was like, "Nope, nope, nope, that's it." And he actually did a straight armbar to who was that other heavyweight? Shoot, I can't remember his name now. But he snapped his arm. He was a champ for like a split second in the heavyweight division. Um, but yeah, he snapped his arm in an inverted armbar, and it was just stupid. So yeah, how he didn't tap is beyond me. You know.
So stylistic. Who do you put Charles up against now? Well, I guess there's rumor. Of course, he's swore on his dad's grave that he wasn't going to come back with Khabib. Who do you?
You know,
Does anybody have anything for Khabib?
you know, to fight Khabib, they would almost have to do nothing but stand up. And I think this is one of those indicative moments where you would have to almost be a one-dimensional fighter for the simple fact that he's not necessarily one-dimensional, but I mean, he is 90% on the ground. So you would have to have someone who is almost 90% devoted to just stand up, you know. And honestly, we know one guy, Conor McGregor.
And the thing is, he took Conor McGregor's best left-handed shot,
Right,
and brushed it off.
right. So I mean, stylistically, that would be the type of guy that I would see who would probably have the better chance. You know, we thought Gaethje would have, but you know, Gaethje overestimated his own wrestling. But then again, his wrestling was subpar. You know, comparatively speaking, you know, to Khabib's.
Right.
You know, but he wasn't a D1 wrestler, and you know, he wasn't, you know, a collegiate kind of guy.
Right.
And you would almost need someone like that who's a collegiate wrestler, but an awesome stand-up fighter.
So bottom line, is there anybody really? I mean, if Conor McGregor can, I mean, he's about the only person, I think, in my opinion, that I don't think Charles Oliveira would stand.
I mean, he might. I mean, obviously, I think he'd take him standing up, but I don't think he could do any groundwork with him.
No.
You know, because I mean, honestly, no one's ever really put Oliveira down on his back in that way. Right. I mean, so you know, we don't really know how he is off of his back. At least we know how Ferguson is. He can take it, but you know, how long do you want to stay down there in that position and just get bombarded horribly?
Yeah, and Khabib, I mean, you know, you see who he trains with. He trains with DC and
right, yeah.
And what's the other heavyweight? I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah, I mean, DC alone, he trains with DC, I mean, and you know, kind of wrestler he is. So it's, yeah. I think Conor's the only one that has anything for him.
Right. And I mean, at least he's slick enough to where he could at least tag him and maybe get at least one luck shot in, you know? I mean, and he's cocky enough to where he would probably, I mean, he's very aware of the fact of, you know, the takedown stuff. But he's so cocky to the point, I think that would almost benefit him, to where he wouldn't hold back on anything stupid.
Right.
You know, he'd probably just go out and be like, "Ha, screw you," you know. Versus most guys, they're going to be, you know, like Gaethje was. You know, he's like, if you watched any of the pre-interviews before the fight, you know, some pre-fight interviews, Gaethje was already beating his own mind, man. Like, he was talking about, yeah, he'll probably take me to the ground, and we already know he's going to wrestle me, and I'm probably not going to win. Or he said something stupid like that. Like, I mean, the dude was already dead in the head before they went to the fight. And I hate to say it, but you almost think that it was kind of pre-scripted.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not far-fetched to believe because we all know the dirty deeds that Dirty Dana has done throughout the many years, with Zuffa and everything else.
Right.
Where he made side deals. He paid, who was it? Was it Tito Ortiz, I believe? Or Ken Shamrock, one of the two. It was someone like $100,000. He had him come over to his house. He paid him $100,000, and he basically said, "I want you to take this man out." Like, so who's to say? It kind of all fell into play because it was in Khabib's area. It was his quote unquote retirement fight. There was a lot of things that you're just like, well, that was kind of meh. And there's a lot of other instances where you could look at, like the Jose Aldo fight in McGregor. Dude was undefeated for like 10 years. And then he gets taken out with one punch. And we haven't seen much of Jose since.
No.
So, and then all of a sudden that was like the buildup of McGregor, it's not
He really
far-fetched.
doesn't. And the thing is, something that pisses me off of it, and I know we kind of got off kilter here a little bit, but he really hasn't defended the belts that he's had.
No, absolutely not.
He has not defended them. He made a ton of money and got out.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty much. So, all right, and the last fight last night, of course, UFC 256 was Figueroa and Moreno.
That was a banger.
And you have personal experience with Moreno.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, like, leading up to that fight, I was literally, like, rewatching our fight together, and I was just like, daggone, man. Like,
Deja vu.
yeah, like, I mean, there was literally a point in the fight when Moreno was on top, and he drug his feet, and, he did an overhand to his head, and I was like, dude, I know exactly how that feels. That happened exactly to me.
Yeah, I went back and watched it, too. I went back and watched your fight, too. I was like, damn, that looks just like what we just saw.
Yeah, I was like, son of a gun, man. Like, whew. Dude's got a chin, I'll tell you that.
And his attitude is awesome, too.
Yeah, and that's what sucks, man, because I so wanted to hate him.
Did you hear the whole? I actually posted on one of the page. I don't remember where I posted that, but in 2018, this dude was cut from UFC.
Yeah.
He was in the bottom of Tough. I forget what the number was.
Tough
but
24, I do believe.
Yeah, but he was in the bottom class of that. He had been cut. He had a daughter that needed surgery and had no money. His family's in the Pinata.
Yeah.
Or how do you say it? Pinata. Pinata. Sorry, Pinata business, and had to go borrow money for to get surgery done for his daughter.
Yeah.
And now here we are in 2020. I mean, we just seen him, just from, combat jiu-jitsu and up. I mean, he's only,
He's 27 years old even. I mean, he's young. Yeah. He's definitely a nice guy. When I first met the dude, he's very deceiving, honestly. Like, it was kind of comical, really, because, when I found out I was fighting him, me and Matt were like, oh, crap. We know that guy. And, not very many people knew, who he was. He wasn't like a huge name.
Yeah.
But, I was like, son of a bitch. And, when I met him, I was like, this kid? Like, when you meet him in person, it's way different. Some people are like larger than life, and you're like, oh, crap, you're bigger than what I thought, And it was totally opposite. This guy was like, he's my size, and like we shook hands, and I actually made a comment, I think, to Matt and stuff. And I was like, this shouldn't be too bad. He's got little soft hands. I shit you not. Like, I literally said something about him having soft hands. I was like, oh, he's got little baby hands. Like, I totally underestimated it, Like, so, we're doing like this standoff, in our pictures and everything. And he's goofing around and I'm goofing around. So I took it so lightheartedly. I'm like, he's a nice guy. He's a nice little young kid,
Yeah.
Don't beat up the old man, And all of a sudden, just bam, he just flipped that switch. I was like, oh, this sucks. Like,
Yeah, the Mexican warrior come out in him. I mean, and that's that seems to be just a trait, and they're tough fighters. Cain Velasquez. I mean, just all kinds of just.
And their looks are so deceiving because they look, like a better term, I guess, soft, because they're not like cut up and everything like Figueroa was. You're
right,
like,
right.
A normal person would be like, that dude.
You look at Moreno and you would never think.
No, absolutely
not in a million years.
And it's funny because his body type has not changed since me and him fought. Because I was like looking back at the pictures, I was like, dude, he looks exactly like, like a fat 135 pounder. Like, I mean, he's not like your typical cut, ripped up kind of guy. I'm like, oh, okay. But daggone, I gotta hand it to him. He took it to him. And he took everything old boy had.
And Figueroa had, I don't know if you'd heard or not. Yeah, I'm sure you saw the interview, but I guess he had some kind of a stomach thing the night before. He'd been in a hospital emergency room or something, or the night before.
Oh yeah.
And still did what he did. So that's a little scary.
Yeah.
Considering if he was healthy.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the rematch is going to be like, man. Like,
both of them have full camps.
Yeah. I still say something was wrong with, he said his shoulder was wrong or messed up or whatever, but he kept grabbing his wrist and stuff.
Yeah.
It was very weird. I don't know if he did have a broken arm and didn't want to say it or whatever. But shoot.
Yeah, he did say he wanted to take a break, and
that fifth round, man. I don't know. The fifth round could have been a lot better, I think. All the other rounds were awesome.
Yeah.
And then, like, they just kind of ran from each other in the fifth round. Like, okay.
To be honest with you, I think that he thought that he had it in the bag, and
right.
I think he let off the gas. That's what it looked like to me, anyway.
Yeah, like he was just coasting, because Figueroa, he was like loading up. He was taking his time, and like every shot he was throwing was just like super hard. He wasn't like trying to be fast paced with nothing, just trying to land a hard hit. And I don't know. It makes you wonder too. Like if he wouldn't have lost that point for the groin kick, it probably would not have been a draw.
No. No, I have to agree with that. And even with the condition that Figueroa had with being sick and stuff, yeah. So, but anyway, we got something to look forward to in 2021. Hopefully they can turn it around to be a live fight where people can actually go to it. But
yeah. No doubt, because I'm missing the crowd, man. That ambiance. It is nice hearing every punch, kick, and slap.
Yeah.
But in the same token, the crowd, the ambiance, and I'm sure the fighters do too. I know myself, from previous experiences, that crowd is just what gets you, going and stuff.
Oh yeah, it feeds. It definitely feeds,
Yeah, absolutely.
So on a side note here, with speaking of COVID and gym, Ronin Jiu Jitsu MMA is open. Y'all are wide open. So what do you got going on over there that people might be interested in with something. I guess your Saturday things is a.
Yeah, it's taken off. So what we've been doing is I decided to implement another day, because I'm not busy enough as it is. But actually, Saturday mornings, we're doing like we call it KS 60. So basically, it's kicks and strikes in 60 minutes. So, call it what you will, boxing, kickboxing, cardio, anything like that. And so basically, it's number one, it's giving people something to do Saturday morning. For a lot of people that can't make it throughout the week.
And what time is it at on Saturdays?
It's at 10 a.m. And actually, I'm not in charge of it. I kind of oversee it, but I have a female instructor, Beth. She absolutely loves like the cardio aspect and everything, and so she runs a lot of that, and I just kind of help along. Doing mitt work, bag work, plyometrics, isometrics, just basically a different barrage of stuff, and kind of it's almost like an introductory course, kind of, to allow people to see if they want to do more as far as like other classes, because we do kickboxing on Tuesdays at 5, and then obviously Jiu Jitsu Monday through Thursday, and then MMA on Fridays at 6:30, and then Sundays at 1. So it's kind of like an introductory thing. If people want to do privates or if they want to do regular classes or something like that.
One of the best experiences I think, or I shouldn't say experiences, but one of the things that really impresses me with the gym, with your gym, with Ronin Jiu Jitsu and MMA is the kids. In the past, I mean, just a complete 180 with, you've seen it. You see kids come in shy and, never done anything wrestling or anything like that before in their life.
Oh, absolutely. It's crazy to see some of the transformations because they don't technically change outside the gym. Well, they do, but like, we have a lot of our smaller girls there, and they're super, super, super shy. And once they get on the mat, it's like a switch flips, and then they're like the most dominant people on the mat. And we have such a huge variety of people. We got kids as young as 5 years old doing it, and they're doing it, with 8, 9, 10-year-old kids. And some of our kids now are actually transitioning, and they're doing, like some nights they'll do a kids class and then they'll turn around and stay for the adult class as well. So we've had a couple of those starting to transition over, which is, honestly, like, I'm very excited to see how the next couple of years are going to go because we've never had that transition phase as of yet, because what's going to happen is where they all started, back when they were, 7, 8, or 9, and here we are, some of them 3 years in, and so they're all going to make that transition phase, and I'm really anxious to see how they're going to adapt, or how they're going to become, because we've always like we've had teenagers that were like 15, 16, 17, but we've never really had one stay through 6 and 7 years old, clear up till 7 years later, being a teenager. So we're just now getting that implementation of just a couple of 11 and 12-year-old kids starting to transition to the adult class, which is freaking amazing. Just to see, like our one kid, he's 10, and he went down and he won the West Virginia State Championships, and he only been doing it for like 2 or 3 months with us. Did an excellent job. We had another kid, he's 12 years old, and he's actually the one, he's got Erb's palsy in his right arm. So, and if nobody knows what that is, basically he has limited mobility in his right arm to where it stays at basically a 90-degree angle, more or less. And he has limited mobility as far as a lot of movements with it. Now, he can still grab and stuff with it and everything. and that was like his parents' biggest fear, was like, well, what if someone grabs it, arm bars, this and that. But honestly, he's transitioned wonderfully. He even went down and did a tournament, won the tournament. So, things like that, I'm just super psyched about.
Confidence. That
Yeah.
confidence building is awesome.
Oh, I absolutely love it, and it sucks that this COVID thing happened because we were in such a wonderful role, because we had that church, the gathering down there.
Right.
And we were doing so many things with the kids, and we had probably 35 kids, I believe, at one point. And we were teaching them, one day a week. Then this COVID crap happened, and it's unfortunate because where we're located at is also in the same vicinity where these kids I see almost on a daily basis wander in the streets and not having any life at all, no direction, no nothing. And I at least feel that we were offering them something to kind of get away from the norm, to give them a little bit of hope of stuff.
Right.
So I'm hoping this stuff kind of settles down and everything. We are still doing kids class. We're limited on sizes. I have people 6 foot distancing and masks and all this other stuff going on. So we're following all the guidelines as we should be, and doing everything properly. It does make it difficult with this COVID, but hopefully within the next, I don't know, month or however long it takes, we start getting back on that track again. And
man, it has to make the turn sometime soon. I mean, my God, we've been screwing with this for it seems like eternity. Which I mean, realize it's only been since March or April, but
it does. It's so difficult on a small business owners, trying to survive through this. It sucks, and I can't fault anyone for not wanting to come or being afraid or anything like that. That's everybody's own personal prerogative. That's on them.
One thing I have to say though, I mean, one thing that another trait of your gym is you're very sensitive to making sure that it is sanitized and clean, and
absolutely.
That if you're sick, you stay the hell home. It's just
yeah. I mean, we got obviously on the door, wear a mask. As soon as you come in, we've got masks at the door. Brand new, sealed up, unopened masks. I've got the waivers. I've got a thermometer, so we check temperatures. Masks for people that don't have them. And there's you're looking at around 4,500 square feet of space for people to spread out. And actually on the mats, I don't know if you've seen them or not, where we have 6 foot radius stickers put on the card. Right. And honestly, I don't know why it never happened before, because now the kids, when they come into class, they go right to a sticker. They're already they're like, I don't even have to tell them anymore. It's like when they don't have direction, there is no direction. Then all of a sudden you give them a sticker to stand on, they're like, yep, my spot. I'm like, well, this is freaking awesome. Like, it's crazy how, something simple and stupid like that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The amount of cleaning that, not just myself, but I have a lot of my females that come in with me on, like, in the daytime. They're always offering to help, and we're constantly wiping bags down, vacuuming. I have a sanitizer spray. We cover all the mats like 2 and 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. Everything's always wiped down and clean as much as possible. For the amount of people that do come in or out. And that's why we do so many classes throughout the whole entirety of the day, from like 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and everybody's kind of broken up into smaller classes. That way, not everybody's on top of one another. So it kind of limits the amount of traffic too, but then again, I expect everybody to be conscious, and very self-aware of their own health, their own habits.
So let's go one more time here through your. Let's go through one more week of what you're. So like on Monday through Thursday, you got MMA at 5.
Well, no.
I'll let you go ahead.
So, each day is slightly different. So basically, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is kids class.
Okay.
And because Monday and Wednesday is Jiu Jitsu for the kids, and then Friday at 5 o'clock is MMA for the kids. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday is kids at 5 o'clock.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then Jiu Jitsu is Monday through Thursday at 6:30. Kickboxing's at 5 o'clock on Tuesdays. And we were starting to implement a beginners jiu-jitsu class on Thursdays. It's still not set in stone yet. I know a couple guys have been coming a little bit early to limit the amount of people and certain things like that.
Right.
Friday nights at 6:30 is MMA, and then Sundays at 1 p.m. Is MMA. So,
which that's another thing too. I do have to say, anybody that is timid or not real good with being trying new things or whatever, Joe and Matt and everybody that Jake, everybody is so good with especially like with people like me. I'm still trying to grasp certain things, and the amount of patience and skill set that these guys have.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
it's not just you. You've got a lot of roots or a lot of base there to help out, and that means that means the world. I mean, it really does.
And everybody, they're always willing, and it's not just jiu-jitsu classes, the kickboxing classes, any of the MMA classes, the kids classes, I've got parents, stepping up. Steve Matthews, he helps me with the kids class.
Yeah.
Everybody's always willing to lend a hand. Nobody's ever been a jerk and be like, screw you, this is my time, everybody's always been open and available. It doesn't matter from white belt to, purple, whatever.
Right.
Everybody's there. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed.
Yep.
And obviously the ones that don't, the ones that don't, they just get weeded out. I mean.
Well, I myself appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the ones that have been there longer than me and know more than me that help out, because it does mean a lot. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Ronin Jiu Jitsu MMA, and what is that address over there?
1739 St. Mary's Avenue.
Okay, we need to put some of this information out on the. Maybe you can text it to me or something or other, and I'll tag it to the actual video once we put it up.
Okay.
And last but not least, you got the okay from Mr. Eddie Bravo himself that you are taking another shot at this whole EBI thing. You probably get to go visit Moreno again.
Yeah. This will be number 3.
Oh, is it number 3?
Yeah. The first one was with Moreno. The second one I went was against Anthony Burchek.
When was that one? When did I miss that one? Was it was I on vacation or something or other when it happened? Maybe. Where was it at? Was it in California too, or?
Yeah, it was in LA. Or was it?
The one last year is the one that I saw that I was hosting here at the house. So was there one in between that one and?
There was. So Moreno was first, and I think that was like February or March or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And then I think it was 8 weeks later or 6 weeks later, the secondary one, and it was in. It had to be LA. I can't remember. I know the first one. Daggone it. Now I'm having a brain fart.
But anyway,
yeah.
you're number 3. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I mean, and the guys on these on this level. I mean, I've been following it more and more.
Right.
And you know, it's nuts.
Honestly, like, I look at it like this, right? So this is going to be number 3 for me. He says I'm in. I'm pretty psyched about it. I'll actually have a longer training camp this time to try and do it in. And it might be my last one, as far as like professional fights go. I'm not getting any younger. So I plan on this one being, as intense as I can make it, So
Right.
I plan on going out there, and, it's crazy how you learn from each experience. The last 2 was very informative, we'll say, as far as everything that I learned. So I think this last one is definitely going to be very entertaining. I've learned a lot in my last 2, and I hope that all fares well for me this time. And I want to come after that belt.
Will this be a 135 or?
Yeah, it'd be 135. Yep. So you never know. I mean, Moreno just may show up.
Something tells me he's going to be hanging in the UFC there for a little while. His paycheck is. He made an extra 50 G's there last night. So.
Well, see, that's the thing. They can cross over, and they're allowed to for no problem. They was going to have who was it? Nightmare. Crap. Not Dominic Cruz. Oh shoot, I forget his name now. Nightmare. That's his nickname.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a complete blank. You talking about that was the one with when you went to the Moreno fight, right? That was originally on the card, and
I think so.
He's the one that has the funny smile.
Yeah. I can't remember his name now. Yeah.
But anyway, I know what you're saying though. It just that people that they can transfer back and forth. But
right.
The only thing is that's a risk, man. You pop a knee, pop a
absolutely
ankle or something like that. Of course, those are fighters though, so I mean,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah. So. But it's bottom line, you're in again. That's a pretty high level. The people that are competing in it are the best in the world. I mean, that's where Gordon Ryan and the Rotillas and all the other ones that come out of it. So props to being able to be called back to that. And by the way, the last time that you were on here, you're purple belt. Now you're a brown belt now too. That's how long it's been since we've been. So that's pretty cool. So
yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. All right, Ryan. Well, I'm going to. We've gone a little bit over an hour here now, and I'm going to try to break this video up too. I'll put times on there where if people want to skip over the breakdown of the first fight, I'll just kind of put that in the description and stuff. And again, send me the information on your schedule. Send me your schedule just so I get it right.
Okay.
And I'll add that into the video description as well. And anyway, well, I hope you have a good Sunday evening and a good week, and maybe I'll pop in there Tuesday or Thursday. How's the hand, by the way? Is the hand better?
The knuckle's still swollen. I don't know. I should probably get it looked at again, but it's one of those weird things that I guess takes time. I don't know. It's still pretty sore and tender. Definitely can't do any punching, and it sucks because I haven't punched anybody in about a little over 2 weeks. So, that gets to you.
Yeah. You don't have any other way of releasing your frustrations, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks. Yeah.
But anyway, you have a good evening and a great week, and I appreciate you taking the time and sitting down here, and we'll be talking at you here later on in the week then.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, Craig.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Talk to you later.
All right.
All right, everybody. So there you had it, Ryan Carroll of Ronin Jiu Jitsu and MMA, and he is. You really need to, if you're at all interested in getting into or just the fitness side of it. It's great cardio. It's great for flexibility, great for strength, all of those. So go over there and check it out. And I'll put the schedule and address on the video. And other than that, coming up on January the 20th, next Sunday, we're going to be doing another MMA video. This time with UFC fighter Nate Maness. Looking very much forward to this. I've been trying like hell to get a UFC fighter on here. It's so hard. You have to know either a publicist or manager or something or other in order to get it. And somehow or other I just was able to connect with him. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I hope everybody tunes in next Sunday, January 20th, or shoot, December 20th, not January yet, but next Sunday. And it will be at 6 p.m. And make sure you, I'll be reminding everybody about it. But pop in, interact with him. He's looking for some fans and stuff. So let's make it good for him. And also, folks, I got some stickers here. So anybody out there that would like to support Robert's Report and wants a sticker, shoot me your address in the inbox, and I will send you a sticker. They don't cost anything. It's just awesome to support what I'm doing here. So, well, been a busy weekend of fights, and we're back to work tomorrow. Other than that, I hope everybody has a fantastic week. And again, I appreciate the support. Have a great evening and a great week.
And I've been thinking that maybe it's time to let 'em know that we're alive. Everybody, lift your hands to the sky. If you feel, let them know that
Good night, everybody. Have a great week.